Please welcome Mr. Mark Abrahams.
I'm going to show you some pictures, and I will explain as we go along. If anything is confusing, please feel free to ask me or to complain. This is our logo for the magazine and also for the Ig Nobel Prizes. You may recognize it. It's, you know the famous old statue called The Thinker. This is the thinker who has been thinking too long. I'm going to talk to you about improbable research and the Ig Nobel Prizes. Improbable Research is the name of my magazine, and it's also an idea. By improbable, I mean things that are not what you expect. That's what this is all about, things that are so unusual to most people that they're surprising, and so surprising that they're funny. This is the quality we look for, something that's so surprising it makes people laugh immediately, and then it stays in your head, and a week later you still want to think about it and tell your friends about it. That's the quality all of this is about. We give Ig Nobel Prizes for things that have this quality, for things that make people laugh and then think. I'll begin by showing you some things that have won Ig Nobel Prizes in the past. We've been doing this every year since 1991. We give 10 prizes. Notice I'm not giving you any detail about this. I'm letting you think about this first. We give 10 prizes every year. We get something like 10,000 new nominations every year. When we give a prize, almost always, we offer it quietly to the person. We give the person a chance to say no. I'm happy to report almost everybody decides to say yes. This is Dr. Elena Bodnar. She won a prize for inventing that. It's a brassiere that in an emergency can be quickly separated into a pair of protective face masks. She has a patent for this. And at the ceremony, we always, the winners come from around the world. They are secret until the moment I introduce them on stage. And when I introduce them, they come onto the stage through a curtain, and there is a Nobel Prize winner, a real Nobel Prize winner, waiting to shake their hand. We had several Nobel Prize winners on stage that night. So she brought some of her bras, and she demonstrated how they work. Okay. Each of these men learned about the existence of this bra 1 minute before this happened, so they were a bit surprised. This is the man on the left won a prize a couple of years ago. He's British. He won a prize because he went to a lot of trouble so he could live life as a goat. He lived on the side of a Swiss mountain. Here he is getting his Ig Nobel Prize from another Nobel Prize winner. The Ig Nobel Prize for Cognitive Science in the year 2008 went to Professor Nakagaki, and I will let him step right up here and explain to you his work. Please welcome an actual living Ig Nobel Prize winner.
Yep. Okay, so Professor Nakagaki won Ig Nobel Prize twice. Once in 2008, Cognitive Science Prize for discovering that slime molds can solve puzzles. This is the first time. And second time is the Ig Nobel Transportation Planning Prize, 2010. Mr. Abrahams, do you remember his?
Yes. The second prize was for demonstrating that slime mold can design the shape of railway networks more efficiently than human engineers can do that. Okay. He and his team won a prize for their discovery of a female penis and a male vagina in a cave insect. I want to see if the translators are still feeling all right after translating that. Thank you. Keep up the courageous work, please. Okay. All right. And that's what they won their prize for. And please welcome this gracious Ig Nobel Prize winner. First of all, each of you, when you began the work, did you think what you were doing was funny?
No, never.
Yeah, I thought my research is something strange, but I don't think it's funny.
Okay. After how many years of doing that research, did you realize that most people are amused, find it funny when they hear about that research?
そういう話。
Not yet ですね。
We find this is true with many of the Ig Nobel Prize winners. As I said, the quality that something makes people laugh and then think, a lot of that comes because it's so surprising to people. It is so far outside most people's experience that for almost everybody, your immediate first reaction is to laugh. And that does not say anything about whether you think it's bad or good. It's just so surprising. That's why people laugh. What we've found with many of the winners, when we get in touch with them and we offer them the prize, that phone call often is the first moment they realize that what they did is funny to everybody else.
So,
For them, it's what they've been doing for their work for a long time. And you know from your experience that whatever you do for your work or for your study, even though it seems strange to you on the first day, after you had been doing it for a while, it comes to seem ordinary to you. Okay. I do want to ask one other question before we do this new thing. We have work done on slime molds and work done on this cave insect that has a female penis and a male vagina.
I think you've listened.
変な汗。
After saying that, I realized you could ask any question. But my question is, have the two of you discussed collaborating together on something?
The good question.
I think it's better to ask the slimers and the cave insect directly. They want to do. ね They make them. We make them to collaborate.
You are studying intelligence in these creatures, yes.
Yes, then try to observe what's happened.
Okay.
And
Yeah, apart from the cave insect, I'm also working on the phylogenetics of insect, the evolutionary pathway of insect. And yeah, actually the phylogenetic algorithm used for phylogenetic analysis is the same with the, optimizing the railroad. So maybe the slime mold also has a ability to resolve the historical problem. So yeah, might be you can try.
try to pose the same problem and the puzzles to slimers and the cave insect.
Oh, okay.
And try to compare which is smarter than. Yes.
I have a question about collaborating in the opposite direction. to your knowledge, does any slime mold have a penis and a vagina?
どうなんかね。どういう質問ですか。
We want to try an experiment.
Yes.
And you're all part of it. It's not a dangerous experiment. It's an experiment in communicating ideas from one person to another. And you know, when somebody is teaching, when a teacher is teaching a student, sometimes the explanation just does not work. It's impossible to understand. And a good teacher at that point will stop and try to think of some completely different way to explain the same thing. Use some completely different metaphor. And I don't mean use different words, make it simpler. I don't mean make it simpler or make it more complicated. I just mean explain it from a different direction. And you probably have done that when you've been explaining things to people. And that's what we're going to do. I'm asking each of them to give 2 short lectures. Each lecture is 2 minutes long. And first you will explain your research. You will then pause for a moment, and then you will explain your research again in a completely different way.
Completely different way.
Now we need...
Still in great troubles.
Yeah. Now, because this is a lot of mental work, let's help each of the speakers by helping them keep track of how much time has passed. This year, the theme of the Ig Nobel ceremony, you may remember seeing the prize is shaped like a heart.
Heart.
So our theme was the heart. Let's make the sound of a heartbeat. In English, we would make a sound that's something like tha-thump. Tha-thump. And maybe there's there's a traditional sound that...
Maybe doki. Maybe doki doki.
Okay. Right. The first lecture will be about the intelligence of slime mold. 1, 2, 3, go.
そうです。2008年に最初もらいましてですね、その時にこの帽子をかぶってやりましたので、これ思い出してやりたいと思います。これいいですか。MIT ですね。そう単細胞の年金は括弧付き単細胞かということです。で見た感じはマヨネーズのような生き物ですね。ここに餌があったとしましょう。みんな集まってきます。ね、これは not so difficult。でもし餌が2つあったらどうしましょう考えですね。To go this way and that way, that is a question ってことです。で見てみましょう、ね、それで This is a maze ですね。それで餌が2つで最短経路でつなぎますっていうことで、これはアメイジングっていうですね。それでですわ、そういうことです。それでネットワークの話で、これは東京レイルウェイネットワークですね。これは年金のネットワークです。それでこんなふうに作りまして、でこの東京レイルウェイネットワークはそんなに年金に負けてないぐらい頑張ってるぜっていう感じなんです。で、We don't know how smart they are ですね。終わった？で、これ結論、実は単細胞年金は先生、先に生まれてる。彼ら数億年生きてたっていうことで、まあ最後はですね、テイクオーバー、エブリシング、アメリカです。これで終わります。2分ですか。
That's the end.
That's the end. Hey.
Before 2 minutes. Wow.
何回か分かんないですよ、ドキドキ。
Was that clear? Could everybody understand how he explained it? I hope not.
No.
Because now he's going to take a deep breath.
Yes.
And then he will explain it to us again in a completely different way.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, timer, are you ready? Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
ですね。で、単細胞の粘菌は単なるネバネバ、マヨネーズみたいなものだ。これは事実ですね。物質の塊です。だとすれば、その運動を、運動方程式で記述するということが、可能であろうと。やってみましょう。ポイントはですね、流量強化速、流れたところがさらに太くなって流れる。そういう決まりで、ネバネバに管ができる。ドキ1回ね。で、モデル方程式をごめんなさい作りまして、迷路解きを再現してみるとできました。ね、でここに粘菌の迷路解きの、情報処理のアルゴリズムが潜んでいると。でネットワークの場合もできます。で実はちょっとした大変バラエティの、多いネットワークがちょっとしたモデルパラメータの、違いで出てきます。同じ方程式だけれどもちょっとしたパラメータの違いでこういう多様性が担保されるっていうそういう生き物の情報処理一旦でそれはいろんなところでですね実はインテリジェントウェイうまく働くそれを使ってカーナビに応用してみたりもっと難しいところ行くとコギトエルゴスムみたいなですね我思うゆえに我ありみたいな
ドキ
でまだあれこれ最後ですね。でなぜこんなことだ、流量強加速っていうのは我々の鉄道網にも当然あるわけですね。で全ての生き物は細胞っていう基本単位からなっていて、とすればですね、情報処理においても共通する、土台というものが、いろんな生物にわたってあるのではないかというふうに思われます。
Thank you.
Thank you. You should. Do you understand?
No.
What I'm saying? No. No.
Yes, I do. I'm curious. I've known a lot about this for a long time, thanks to you. I'm curious about which version you found to be easier to understand. So I'd like to ask you if you think the first version was more clear, would you please raise your hand? Okay. And if you think that the second version was more clear, please raise your hand. Okay. Do you people talk to each other?
No.
Are you friendly with each other, the two groups? You might look around, and it might be interesting afterwards to talk to somebody. Those of you who disagree about which one was more clear, you can probably learn some interesting things about this by talking to each other. So just so you can see again, everybody who found the first way to be more clear, raise your hand again. Okay? And everyone who found the second way to be more clear, raise your hand again. Some of you were raising your hand both times, which I guess means you did a wonderful job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Now we're going to hear a lecture twice explaining the research on this unusual cave insect. Are you ready now? Okay. So here is the first lecture about the research on the cave insect. 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay, so we found a female penis from a Brazilian cave insect that is the name Toricaichatate in Japanese. So the discovery itself is extremely simple, so I'd like to explain why such structure could be evolved. So the key to understand is the sexual selection. So usually males have chance to produce more offspring by mating with multiple females. In contrast, the number of females' offspring is constrained by number of eggs she can produce. So multiple mating can be even in addition, multiple mating can be even costly for female because maybe males have disease infected via sex.
I forgot.
So conventional animals benefit for multiple mating. Males' benefit for multiple mating is much larger than female. In contrast, multiple mating is even costly for female. This is called sexual selection, and males are usually active for mating, and females are more choosy. But the direction of sexual selection can be reversed if those relationships are completely reversed, and after that, females are more active for mating, and males are choosy. So, Torikai chatate lives in very nutrition-poor caves, and females consume the semen as nutrition. So seminal consumption is beneficial for female, so that the direction of sexual selection is reversed. Torikai chatate. So, and sexual selection also defines the evolution of genital evolution. So, penis has evolved many times independently, but almost always males. So, under the reverse sexual selection, sexual selection may favor the evolution of female penis. Okay, that's it.
Thank you. Okay, breathe a little bit between lectures now. And are you ready for the second one?
Yep.
Now, a lecture explaining that same research in a completely different way. 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay, so next I will use the personification for explanation, which is generally avoided for scientific discussion, but probably more easy to understand. So males produce only a small amount of semen at a time, and this is enough for fertilization. So therefore, it is easy for males to refill the semen and to mate with another female in a short period of time.
Doki.
And with this small cost, males have chance to have multiple babies. So of course, female can also mate with multiple males during short period of time, but even with double amount of semen, she can only produce a single baby at a time. So this difference is called sexual selection, and males are usually more active for mating with multiple females, whereas females are more choosy. However, if large amount of semen is needed for fertilization, the situation is completely different because it is very difficult for males to produce such a large amount of semen in a short period of time, so he cannot mate with multiple females in such short interval. And if semen is nutritious and important for females, multiple mating with different males can be beneficial for females. So it is what happened in Torikai chatate. Females becomes more active for mating and to receive more seminal gift, and males become more choosy because of difficulty to produce large amount of semen. And think about these two genital structures, and you know, the left one is more active and the right one is more passive. So reverse sexual selection, this relationship is also reversed. So this structure is evolved in female in Torikai chatate. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, in this one, I'm also curious about which way was more clear. If you found the first explanation to be more clear, please raise your hand. If you found the second explanation to be more clear, please raise your hand. And I just realized I should ask one more question. If you found that neither of those was clear, please raise your hand. Doki doki. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for taking part in this
maybe-
experiment.
Can I have
No.
30 minutes?
Sure. Yeah.
Just 30 seconds because I prepared
30
Okay.
seconds.
30 seconds.
actually although abundant I prepared another to lecture just in just 30 seconds. So I explained about the evolution of female genitalia, but there is of course another story that is the evolution of male genitalia. And the genitalia are only functional if one is convex and one is concave. So if sexual selection preferred the evolution of convex structure in female, that called the unfunctional genitalic pairs. So according to the convex structure in female, the convex male structure has to be evolved simultaneously. So this is another story, but this question is completely unresolved, and we are working pretty hard for resolve the problem.
Good.
Okay.
And so now, of course, there's another question. Who found this third explanation to be the most clear explanation? Raise your hand if you did. All right, a few people did. And maybe the lesson here is that shorter is clearer, but maybe not. So again, thank you to both of our lecturers. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to our timekeeper and to our announcer for this.
Mark,
Yes.
do you remember Ig Nobel Chemistry Prize in 2013?
Remind me.
Okay, so Ig Nobel Chemistry Prize 2013 is for, I think you have already mentioned, the discovering that the biochemical process by which onions make people cry is even more complicated. Chan, 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 chan. And based on this, the prize, the onion without crying was invented. Have you tried to eaten that?
No, I have not had it yet. But I will, I think in 2 days. 2 days from now, I will be at the University of Kanazawa. And this inventor will be there.
Really?
We're doing
But
a public event.
You are lucky.
I hope he will bring it on. You've tried it?
Today, you can try it. Because one of COSTEP student is one of the member of Onion Research Team.
Oh, really?
So Noria Masamura, please welcome.
Wonderful.
So he's a member of House Foods.
How about let's try, please.
We should cut it
Okay,
right now.
no problem.
Okay, but cut it first. I want to see whether you cry or not.
Oh,
Somebody have a knife?
Somebody has a knife. She has a knife. Why? 仲良さそうでいいですね。
This is an onion. It tastes like
Yes.
an onion.
you try the cutting. The one with okay. And this way.
I'll try it. I will try it, and then you can try it.
すごい絵ですね。What are we doing? What are you doing?
Somebody like to try?
Everybody.
Thank you.
Nothing.
Nothing happened. Wow.
And no tears really means a smile. And that we call this onion smile ball in Japan.
Ah, good. Anyone like some? You don't have to cut it. Anybody like to try taste?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody is okay, and I know you have. So, anybody?
What is the most interesting research that got Ig Nobel Prize?
Oh, that's a difficult question. You know, there have been 280 Ig Nobel Prize winners. My answer is different every time. I'll pick a different one today, inspired by this lecture about mating. There was a prize 3 years ago to a team from Austria, from Vienna, Austria. They looked at old historic reports that said that the king of Morocco, 300 years ago, was the father of 600 sons. And they are biologists, these scientists. So they tried to figure out, is it possible for one man to be the father of 600 sons? The answer they found was really surprising. I don't have time to give it to you, but you can go look it up. And it's related to part of these lectures.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for funny time. Why do you make the Ig Nobel Prize? 何きっかけ?
Why did I start?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
In 1990, I became the editor of a science magazine. Suddenly, I was meeting lots and lots of people from around the world who had done these things that were funny and seemed crazy or wonderful or hard to describe. And I kept thinking most of these people are not known. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody knows they did these things. They might go their entire life and nobody will ever know they did these amazing things. And I thought somebody should do something about that. So we did something about that. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much.
But I think that question is related with your questions from you. How do you think? Maybe that you can add some comment.
So the last time I asked the similar kind of question to you. So when I was in Boston in 28 anyway. So then you said to me, there is no such prizes as the Ig Nobel Prize. So that's your answer to me. So then I'd like to ask again a little bit more. So then tell me why there is no such kind of prize so far at that moment before you start this.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
every other prize in the world that I know about is very different from this. Every other prize says, these things are the very best things in the world. Like Olympic prizes are for the best runners, the best swimmers, the best skaters. Academy Awards are for the best movies. Nobel Prizes are for the best scientists and best writers. There are also a few prizes for the worst things, prizes for the worst movies, things like that.
Yeah.
Worst.
Worst movie.
Worst scientist.
Yes, you can start that prize. But as far as I know, there's no prize that ignores whether something is good or bad. We do not care, for our purposes, we do not care whether something is good or bad. We do not care whether it is important or trivial. And in fact, there are many things where it's impossible to make that kind of judgment right away. Sometimes it takes years, sometimes it takes hundreds of years before it becomes clear. For us, we really don't care. That is, plays no part in our decision. We have the one criterion, the one thing that has to be true. It's that something really does make almost everybody in the world laugh when they learn about it, and it also stays in their head and makes them think. Yeah, how many of all the prizes in the world you know about, the local prizes, the ones that are international, how many of them made you really begin to think about the things that won those prizes? Think about that.
The Ig Nobel Prize may write the topics in relation to reproduction and the sex and kind of things. So is that right? And there are some that tell me why, or
Yeah.
do you agree?
There are, we get a lot of nominations that are, the English phrase is below the belt.
Below the belt.
Below the belt. And you want to stand up and demonstrate.
Below the belt.
Below the belt.
下
We have an unofficial rule for ourselves that we follow. Every year when we choose 10 winners, no more than 2 of those can be below the belt. If we chose more than that, the whole flavor of everything would feel very different.
Very strategic.
Much more highly competitive below the belt.
Yes. Yes.
Above the belt, 80%.
Yes,
80%
yes, I
above
had never thought about it in terms of percentages before you put it in these words. Thank you.
Okay, is it okay or anybody else? Okay, just a final question. Oh,
So in my opinion, a lot of researchers in Ig Nobel Prize is related to their fundamental research on science. But recently in Japan, the government tend to focus on the applied science. So what do you think about this situation?
Let me answer it in slightly different terms. That there are many things that are called research, and most national governments in the world behave the same way the Japanese government is behaving on this, and a lot of companies also behave this way. When they call something research, but they're really expecting the people to write a report about something they already know, that's not research, that's marketing. Research is when somebody looks at something nobody understands yet and tries to make sense of it. It's risky and it's frustrating because if you're trying to understand something nobody else has been able to understand, most of the time you will fail. You know that in advance. But if you are persistent, if you keep at it, every once in a while you will be lucky and you will discover something. And that's research. It's frustrating for governments and companies that have money because they wish they could simply say, do some research and discover something wonderful right away. That's not possible. That's not in this universe. So doing research and funding research means you're going to have frustration. Much of the money will feel like it's wasted, but it's not. That's the true cost. It's expensive in time and all. If you do not spend money to do that, that is much, much, much more expensive because it means nothing will ever improve, ever. And that's extremely costly. Is that did I answer your question?
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
okay. Thank you very much. Okay, finally, just a small gift from me to you. Take one, and take one, and take one. And finally, This is for me. So yesterday, I made it. I printed it with the print. And then, you know this one. Maybe she asked about that. This is a logo about the Ig Nobel. This is a Chinese character, means the smile, and it consists of some another alphabet, Ig Nobel, Ig Nobel, but the special one. Wow.
And then one that word, right? All right, for real. 3, 2, 1, now. Hey, that's pretty good. The final thing that I want to say to you is the final thing I say every year at the Ig Nobel ceremony. Okay. If you did not win an Ig Nobel Prize this year, and especially if you did, better luck next year.
Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Mark Abrahams.